Today we will begin in Tadasana Mountain Pose. Inhale and exhale, closing your eyes. Inhale, suddenly feel the body building energy, and exhale as you feel the body breathe out tension, soften, and relax. Move your attention inwards. We'll start with traditional sun salutation, Surya Namaskar, original form of sun salutation, syncing breath with movement. If possible, eyes closed to allow your attention to go inwards and find a meditative movement. Palms together at heart center and start with 2 deep breaths. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Deep inhale, long, slow exhale. Now sync breath with movement. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Exhale, folding forwards and down. Inhale, step the right foot far back, knee down and sink in the hips. Lengthen the spine and look forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float forwards to plank. Exhale, drop your knees, chest, and chin. Arch the back forwards and down. Inhale, cobra, shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forwards, left knee down. Again, sink hips, lengthen the spine, look forwards. Exhale, second leg forwards, forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms to heart center. Other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forwards and down. Inhale, left foot back, place the knee down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, floating forwards to plank. Exhale, drop knees, chest, chin. Arms stay to the side. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left knee forward, right knee down. Exhale, second leg forward and fold forwards. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, palms to heart center. Now one more each side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold forwards and down. Inhale, right foot back, knee down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float forwards to plank. Exhale, drop your knees, chin, chest. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forwards, left knee down. Exhale, second leg forwards, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, palms to heart center. Other side. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, folding forwards and down. Inhale, left foot back, knee down. Exhale, push back into downward dog. Inhale, float forwards plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale through cobra. Exhale, pushing back into downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forwards, right knee down. Exhale, second leg forwards and fold. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, palms to heart center. Hands to the side into Tadasana Mountain Pose. Take a few breaths and feel the effects of the sun salutations, warming the body, getting ready for main physical practice. As much as possible throughout the practice, try to close the eyes and move attention inward. Make practice a moving meditation. Have your attention absorbed by the sensations generated by movements, by posture, allowing it to hypnotize you and move you into a deep yoga meditative state. Now open the eyes, bring the feet together, interlock your fingers. Inhale, reach the arms up and back, open the chest and look down. Exhale, come up onto the tiptoes, standing, hold, and breathe. Inhale, heels down. palms together. Exhale, sit back and down into chair pose, Utkatasana. Slight tuck in pelvis, iron out back bend, reaching up through your arms, up through the crown, lengthen the spine, engage all the muscles in the legs and breathe. Inhale, arms shoulder width apart, feet hip width. Exhale, sinking down deeper in deep chair pose, thighs parallel to the ground. Inhale, hands down and legs long, spine long. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen to flat back, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step to plank. All chaturangas can be held on knees or toes throughout the class. It's your choice. Now, deep inhale. Exhale, chaturanga on knees or toes. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, long, slow exhale. Inhale, raise the right leg to down dog split, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee and open at the hip. Hold and breathe. Inhale, hips square. Legs straight, reaching far back and behind, lengthening. Exhale, right foot forward in between the hands. Come up to high lunge warrior, thumbs and fists, Musti Mudra, arms out to the side, back leg push straight, reaching out through the arms and back. Open up your chest, reach up through the crown, lengthen, and hold. Breathe here. Last 5, maybe sink a little bit deeper. Now inhale, step forwards and raise the left knee. Grab the knee and find balance. Exhale, left foot inside of right leg, above or below the knee. Open the hips, palms up and find balance. Inhale, palms to heart center and raise the left knee. Exhale to warrior 3. Back leg and torso parallel to the ground in one line. Palms stay at the chest or reach out to the sides to fly, or reach forwards for full warrior 3. There's a slight internal rotation of the left hip to try and square the hip. Inhale, step the left foot down, medium length stance. Both feet facing forwards, hips square, front leg straight. Exhale, hinging at the hips as you fold forward. Hands to leg, blocks or ground as you inhale to lengthen to flat back. And then tilt the pelvis as much as you can with the sit bones to the sky. And then exhale, fold forward into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Hold and breathe. Inhale, release. Bend the front leg, hands frame the front foot, and exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Inhale, float forwards to plank and drop the right knee to the center of your mat. Exhale, open, revolved side plank. Right hand down, left hand up. Bottom knee stays down supporting, or option 2, bottom knee comes off the ground towards the torso for a stronger variation. Keep breathing. Engage all the muscles in the upper body. Squeeze the core. Try and push your hips a bit higher. Now Vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, tiger. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, floating forwards to plank. Exhale, push back to downward dog. Other side. Inhale, raise the left leg, down dog split. Exhale, bend the knee, open the hip, hold and breathe. Inhale, hips square, reach the left leg straight back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left foot forward in between hands. Come up into high lunge warrior. Fist and thumbs Musti Mudras. Arms out to the side. Push back leg straight. Reach through the arms and back. Reach up through the crown. In yoga, we're always lengthening in all directions. Last 5, maybe sink a bit deeper. Inhale, step forwards and raise the right knee. Grab the knee and find balance. Exhale, foot inside the left leg above or below the knee. Open the hips as much as you can, palms to heart center. Reach the arms up, hold a fixed point for gaze, and balance. Inhale, palms back to heart center and raise the right knee in front. Exhale, swing back into Warrior 3. Back leg and torso parallel to the ground. Palms either stay at the chest, reach out to the sides to fly, or forwards for full Warrior 3. Inhale, step the back foot down to a medium length stance. Both feet facing forwards, hips square, front legs straight. Exhale, hinge at the hips forwards, hands on legs, blocks or ground. Inhale to lengthen and flat back. Exhale, fold into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Symmetrical variation, the left shoulder towards left leg. Head and spine stay central line. Hold and breathe. Inhale, release, bend front knee, hands frame the front foot, and exhale, pushing back into downward dog. Inhale, floating forwards to plank, drop the left knee to the center of the mat. Exhale, revolve side plank. Left hand down, right hand up, bottom knee stays down supporting the form or comes up off the ground in towards the torso. Really try and create space between your shoulder blades. Reaching up through the arms, try and spread the shoulder blades. Vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to do 2 breaths here in downward dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, raise the right leg to down dog split. Exhale, right foot forward in between hands. Left hand down, right hand up, opening the chest. Keeping the legs square, just like in High Lunge Warrior. Revolved side angle. Inhale, release the hands down, drop the back foot, heel and back foot 90 degrees from the front foot in one line. Exhale, forearm to knee, open the hips, open the chest, forearms to knee, turn overhead. Option 2, hand inside right heel. Whatever you do, really open the hips as much as you can, chest as much as you can, and reach to the top arm, lengthening the side body. Seek to sink pelvis. Inhale, release, left hand back down, come onto the back foot, toes, and drop the back knee. Slide back knee backwards so there's space to sink in the hips. Front knee stacked over ankle or behind, hands inside the right heel. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, work your elbows down to blocks or to the ground. Lizard pose, sinking into the hip stretch. Relax and breathe. Now release and come back to the hands. Take an inhale. Exhale, push back to downward dog. Inhale, float forwards to plank. Exhale, push back, other side. Inhale, raise the left leg to down dog split. Lengthen, and then exhale the left foot forward in between the hands. Right hand down, left hand up. Open the chest and keep the hips square like in high lunge warrior. Option 1, stay there. Option 2, right elbow over the left knee. Palms together and push down through the top to open further. Inhale the hands back down, drop the back foot 90 degrees to the front foot heels in one line. Exhale, left forearm to knee, open the hips, open the chest, and right arm forwards, overhead. Mirror whatever you did on the other side and just sink your pelvis. Inhale, right hand down, come up onto the back toes, drop the back knee, slide back knee backwards for space to sink in the hips. Front knee stacked over ankle or behind, exhale to sink into the stretch. Elbows come down onto blocks or the ground, and close your eyes and try to relax and use the breath. With each exhale, try and breathe out tension. Relax, soften, and maybe sink deeper. Inhale, release back to the hands, and then exhale, pushing back into the downward dog. Inhale, float forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. In your down dog, take a deep inhale. Look up between your hands. Inhale, step, jump, or float forwards to flat back. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Again, lengthen. Exhale, squat down, Malasana. Shuffle your feet to find your most comfortable foot placement in this squat. Palms together, elbows to inner thighs, heels down if possible. It's okay if not. Buttocks as low as possible, torso as upright as possible, eyes closed, and take a few breaths here. Now, open the eyes, bring the hands down in front, knees into the tops of the upper arms. Raise the hips, thighs around parallel to the ground or a bit higher, shifting your weight from feet into your hands. Option 2, raise one leg and then the other, or option 3, lean forwards until you feel weightless. Bring your big toes to touch, make sure you're engaging the legs so that you don't slip, and engage your core so that your body is supported. Either release back to squat and step back to plank, or you can try and step or float back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to do 2 deep breaths here in down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, raising the right leg, down dog split. Exhale, right foot forward in between the hands. Step forward, raise the left knee, grab the knee, and find balance. Place a right hand to the hip, left hand either hold the knee or option 2, peace finger, thumb to big toe. Torso upright, almost pulling hip into socket. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, release the hand, and keep the leg raised. Cross left leg over right. Put foot behind the calf if you can. Right arm under left arm. Palms together, elbows high. Stay there or squat down, elbows to knee. Now release, inhale standing up, raise the left knee and step the left leg far back. Drop the back knee. You have space to sink the hips. Front knee stacked over right ankle, torso upright over the pelvis. Weight in back leg hip flexor, hands on your hips, blocks or ground. Hold and breathe. Inhale, release, push the hips back, left hip stacked over left knee, legs straight and hinge at the hips, fold forwards, hands down. Inhale, lengthen and flat back. Exhale, fold into half split. Inhale, release, move forwards to lunge, hands frame front foot. Exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Inhale, float forwards to plank. Exhale, push back into downward dog. One full vinyasa. Inhale, float forwards to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, tiger. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, downward dog. Other side. Inhale, raise the left leg to guide down dog split. Exhale the left leg, bring it forward in between the hands. Step forward, raise the right knee, grab the knee, find balance. Left hand to hip, right hand continue holding knee or peace fingers, thumb to big toe. Legs straight. Try and keep your chest and torso tall with your right arm is pulling hip into the socket. Deep inhale, and then exhale, release the hand to hip, keep your leg raised. Cross the right leg over the left, put the foot behind the calf if you can, and left arm under right arm. Raise your elbows, stay there or squat down, elbows to knee. Now release. Inhale, stand and raise the right knee, step right foot back, and hands down, drop the back knee. Slide back knee back to sink space in hips. Keep the knees stacked over the ankle or behind. Keep your torso upright and hands to knees, hips, blocks, or the ground. Sink into the back leg hip flexor, close your eyes and breathe. Now release. Inhale forwards, push the hips back, right hip stacked over right knee. Left leg straight. Exhale and inhale, lengthen and flat back. Exhale, fold into half split. Inhale forwards into lunge, hands frame the front foot. Exhale back to downward facing dog. get ready to prepare to hold chaturanga. So we're going to inhale to plank, and then exhale to chaturanga. Hold. Exhale chaturanga, laying on your belly, shoulder stretches. Draw a line from the top of the head to the right hand side, palm down, level with your crown, ground the shoulder and roll over, keeping your arm locked in position. It doesn't have to move up or down as you roll over. Left hand either at the ground supporting or coming over trying to meet your right hand. The right hand stays palm down so the angle of your shoulder stays correct. Release, unroll, other side. Left hand aligned from the top of the head to the left hand side, palm down, level with the crown, ground your shoulder, roll over, raise the knees if you can, right hand to the ground for your support, or reaching over to try and meet the left hand. Left hand stays palm down. Release, unroll, and now we're going to go on to counter stretches. Right leg out to the side, bent or leg straight, leg 90 degrees to the torso. Bring your right arm, slide it under the throat to the left, walking the hand far to the left. Then place the left arm to the side of the body, both shoulders stretching or chin or forehead down, right palm down, left palm up. Release, unravel to the other side. Left leg to the side, straight or bent leg, 90 degrees to the torso. Left arm under the throat, walking the palm far to the right. Right arm to the side of the body, stretch both shoulders, chin or forehead down. Lift the palm, left palm up, right palm down, and relax. Unravel. Hands under shoulders. Inhale, push back to all fours. Exhale, tuck the toes for downward facing dog. And we're going to do one full vinyasa. Inhale, float forwards plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, tiger. Inhale, knees down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jump your legs wide off your mat, or you can come sideways onto your mat. Heels in and toes out. Hands above the knees, arms push straight. Sink down through the hips in supported stupa. Use the hands to push the legs open, pushing the knees back, using this preparation for full stupa. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Raise arms over the head, palms together, hold. Pulling your knees back, pushing pelvis forward with a slight tug of the pelvis, ironing out any back bend. Reach up through the arms and up through the crown and lengthen. Last 5, maybe sink a bit deeper. And then inhale, standing, feet to parallel. Exhale, hinging at the hips, and fold forward. Feet can stay parallel or toes pointed in slightly, whichever feels better for your structure. Inhale to re-lengthen, and then reach through the crown of the head, tilting your pelvis forward as much as you can, reaching the sitting bones towards the sky. Exhale to fold. Wide-legged forward fold. Release and unroll, walk the feet in, heels toe, then drop down onto the knees for Mandukasana, frog. You can be sideways on your mat, or better, one knee on the mat and one knee on something that slides, working your torso parallel to the ground. Maybe elbows come down, maybe chest to the block or chest to the ground. Just try and keep the knees and hips in the same transversal line, not too far forwards and not too far backwards. Slide the knees out until you find a stretch in your inner thighs, your hips, and close your eyes and just relax. Allow the inner thighs to slowly open. Try and use the breath. Long, slow, deep breathing. Each exhale, seek to breathe out tension and soften and relax. Stay here. About halfway. Now release, slide the knees back in, come back to all fours, and take a moment in all fours just to wiggle a little bit and reset. Then, in all fours, keep hips stacked over the knees and begin to walk the hands forward. Hands stay shoulder width distance apart as you work your forehead or chin and chest down towards the mat into puppy stretch. And release. Come back to all fours. Cross your legs, sit back, and lay down onto your back. We're going to do one more back bend. Bridge or full wheel. Raise the knees and bring the heels towards the butt. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, raise the hips. Interlock the fingers under the hips and roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, push hips as high as you can, and hold here and breathe. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, hands behind shoulders, raising up to full wheel, raising the head, and then regroup, and then raise the hips. If you take full wheel, try and push legs straight, push the chest through the arms, opening the shoulders, chest, and thoracic spine. Then slowly release and unroll. Take a moment laying and feeling the effects of back bends. Of all physical postures, back bends give the strongest stimulation to the central nervous system, therefore the strongest energetic sensations. So after we do them, it's nice to just take some time to feel the effects. Now hug your knees to the chest and a little roll around on your back. Massage, reset, and then round the spine and begin rolling forwards and backwards. Massage the length of the spine and roll yourself up into a seated position with your feet together. Hands begin behind to bring your torso upright, sitting you up high onto your sitting bones, not tucking your pelvis, but pulling your sit bones back. Start by actively opening your hips by pulling the knees down with muscle activation. Check that you've found a good position here, and you can release the hands, grabbing the outsides of your feet like a book. Elbow to the inner thighs, assisting in opening Stay here and use the breath. Each exhale may be open a little bit more. Then release and allow the knees to raise. The backs of the hands to the outsides of the waist. Place the elbows inside of the knees and slowly squeeze the knees until you find a stretch in the shoulders. Release and bring the legs straight into a seated forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms up, spine long, hinge at the hips, and fold forward and down. If you can't quite reach your feet, you can bend the knees, slightly grab the feet, and then with a fairly long spine to work against. Slowly work the legs straight. Release and unroll. Place your hands behind you, fingers facing forward, just behind the buttocks. Exhale, push the hips up. Paravottanasana, incline plank. Look up. Deep inhale and push hips as high as you can. Exhale, release. Hands flip so fingers face backwards. Raise the knees and pull the hips forward to rock pose. Any discomfort in the elbows, just engage the biceps to have a micro bend. It stalls the same stretching effect on your shoulders. Kick your feet forwards to release and lay down onto your back for shoulder stand. Option 1, just stay here with the legs raised. Or option 2, full shoulder stand, raising the hips, supporting the back with the hands. Weight in elbows and shoulders, no weight going through the neck. Then slowly release for a spinal twist. Arms out to the side, in line with the shoulders. Knees raised, drop the knees down to the right and look to the left. Both shoulders down. If you need a deeper twist, top leg crosses over the lower leg. Just relax and allow for the spine to release. Then come back to center and reset. And then twist to the other side, knees to the left, look to the right, shoulders down or cross the top leg over the bottom leg. Just mirror whatever you did on your first side and just relax, releasing any remaining tension. Then release back to center, knees to chest, a little roll around on your back and massage. Just reset. And then squeeze the legs in tight before stretching them long, feet mat width distance apart, dropping out to the side, arms at the side of the body, palms facing up, and make yourself completely comfortable for final relaxation, final Shavasana. Stay here around 10 or more minutes, completely relaxing, and feel every part of your body sinking and melting into the mat. Everything soften, your feet, your hands, legs, your arms, hips, belly, chest, shoulders, your back, neck, face, and forehead. Everything's soft. Just let it melt, drift, and float as you fall deep into relaxation, deep into Shavasana.